Jen.
And I'm Jane.
And we're SpielMill.
And this is our September monthly theme video.
Woo! On time.
Yay, on time. So, this month's theme, what this video is we pick 3 themes for the month that we think would make for great themed game days. And then we pick like 4 or 5 games to go with each day that you could play during a game day themed around that theme.
Yep.
So that's pretty much what it is. And we love to get input on this. So make sure you comment when you get a chance. My shirt's all a mess. And, we'll fix that.
Yeah. All right. So our first theme for September is Labor Day. Of course, Labor Day kicks off the beginning of September, the fall season. It's the end of the summer, but we took it in the direction in which it was intended, and we looked for games that feature labor or workers to celebrate workers.
So we started out with a game that's a really good light game to start your game day with, but involves road construction, and that is Tokyo Highway.
Yes.
This is a dexterity game. You're putting basically popsicle sticks over each other and creating roads and bridges and trying to get the highest score. You get points based on the other roads that you go over and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Our second game is Istanbul. In Istanbul, you are a merchant in the city of Istanbul, and you're sending out your workers to other places around the bazaar and around the city to collect resources and bring them back. This to me was one of my absolute favorite games early on in our gaming career, in my gaming career. It just captured my imagination. It was so interesting. I think it's a little lighter than the games that we tend to go for now, but I'm always up for a game of Istanbul.
Next up on our list, we have a bit heavier of a game, but another type of work is farm work. And so we went with Agricola. Agricola is a game, basically it's about raising a family on a farm and working the farm. And amongst that, of course, it's also harvest season, and harvest is a big part of the game in Agricola. So we thought that would be a good choice.
Yeah, and you hire laborers in it. You send your kids into the field almost as soon as they're born. Great, highly thematic work game. And our next game is Architects of the West Kingdom. Of course, you are sending your workers out. And the more workers that are in one place, the more resources you get, the more work they're doing. I think something else that's really nice about this is you're building the cathedral. So there's that element of, completing something, laboring to create sort of a long-standing cultural, not relic, symbol, icon, whatever. And of course, you're hiring workers in it too. So perfect way to celebrate Labor Day.
And then finally, you've grown all your fruit and everything. You've got to sell it somewhere. And why not on a boat somewhere and go to the floating market and sell your goods? And floating markets are a really good game, a worker placement game. And it's really fun.
And it's on the lighter side, so it's a great way to end your game night when you want to cool it down a little bit, but you still want to be, placing workers and doing something a little more juicy.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh yeah, I was about to end it for some reason. That's just the first theme.
We've got more.
The second theme, of course, September helps bring in fall.
Yes.
So this is about fall.
Yes, and we love autumn. September, you're super excited about it. So the first game on our fall game list for fall game day is Bosque. Bosque is less mean than photosynthesis, and your trees are dropping their leaves and their acorns places to grow more. So it's got this really lovely fall-like color palette and fall-like feel.
Yeah, it's really, and it plays abstractly, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a game that has a good fall theme. Again, this sort of goes back to harvesting and farming and stuff like that. And that is Three Sisters. And this is a roll and write. So after playing Bosque, you might break it up with a little roll and write, filling in sheets and stuff like that. It's Three Sisters. It's really fun.
Yep. Grow your pumpkins. Next up on our list is Indian Summer. So this is, of course, part of Uwe's, I guess, trilogy, or the 4 of them. of the polyomino games, so including Cottage Garden and Spring Meadow. Indian Summer is obviously the fall themed one,
Right.
and it's probably the prettiest. Well, I don't know, Cottage Garden's really pretty. It's super pretty, but by fall you don't want to see flowers anymore. You're into the oranges and the yellows, and so this game fills that bill, and of course has the wonderful polyomino aspect to it that we all know and love.
And then, in another big tradition, at least in America, in the fall, is American football. And so we suggest football highlights. Football highlights is basically it's a roll and write game focused on American football. And it's really fun. It's baseball highlights is a very similar game. It's basically an expansion of baseball highlights. So they're almost the same game, but this has a football focus. And you can play it solo quite well too.
I find it super thematic for basically just a rolling right on a grid. You're moving down the gridiron.
Yep.
It's got combo-tastic juiciness to it. Really, really love this game, and we break it out every fall for football season to really celebrate. And then finally, we're going to end up, what are you doing in fall? You know, you're preparing for the winter. You're preparing for that season of cold and deprivation, right? Creature comforts. Creature comforts is all about getting ready for the winter. It's about storing, filling your house with stores, your storehouse with stores, stockpiling things for the winter, making sure you have entertainment and then with like board games, knitting your sweaters, and it's super cute, super cozy, and it fits so lovely into this theme. It's a great way to end your fall themed board games day.
All right, so that's our fall themed day. And you can let us know what you suggest in the comments.
And our final theme is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite theme game days. In fact, we usually do this multiple days in the fall, and that is Oktoberfest.
Yay.
Of course, Oktoberfest generally happens, I think, in the last 2 weeks-ish of September in Germany, and is the release of the fall beers.
Yep.
So kick us off.
All right. Well, the first game you want to play is a game about beer. It's about beer not from Germany, but it is from close by, Belgium, and that's Belgian Beer Race. And in Belgian Beer Race, you go around from brewery to brewery, drinking different beers. You can travel in different ways, and you're trying to get back to Brussels at the end of the game to win the game and get to have the most points.
Yeah.
Really fun game.
And there's a lot of the breweries featured in it are real breweries. It has a guide. You can actually get beers from those breweries. That's one thing we love to do, is get a bunch of single beers from those breweries and then sample them as we play.
Yep.
Highly recommended. Our next game for Oktoberfest is Taverns of Tiefenthal. Of course, this takes place in a bar, but for me, this game feels so fall-like, so warm and thematic. And of course, you're running a hotel. You're trying to get in patrons, and you're trying to serve them food, but you're also brewing beer there. We, in fact, have little beer mugs that we use as tokens instead of whatever it is that's in the game. This is just a wonderful game and great for Oktoberfest.
Yep. And finally, our next game, you're going to need some rolls for your brats during Oktoberfest to go with your beer. And you can play some beer and bread.
Yeah.
Beer and bread is a game for Scott Holmes. Really fun game with multi-use cards, and it's just really interesting how this game works. Like the cards you play to the one area, you get back the next round and they're your hand. And so you have decisions to make that are very interesting.
I want to play this right now.
How you choose when to brew beer or make bread, or when to do this other stuff. So
yeah, really good game. Okay, our next on the list is Brew Crafters. You are making beer. This is one of my favorite games. It's a worker placement game. The base game is a pretty simple, ish worker placement game, but it's got expansions you can add on. So you can add like a garden where you're growing hops and a whole bunch of other stuff. This game is so thematic. There's bunches of different types of beer. You have to get the ingredients to make the beer. I love this game so much, and it is absolutely essential playing for Oktoberfest game day.
And finally, we can go back to the roots of beer making, and as if we're monks in the Middle Ages or something, and play Heaven and Ale. Heaven and Ale is a really fun game. It's got the one-way ratchet track thing going. It's and you're got your fields where you're planting crops, and you're collecting money from crops or goods from crops. Getting points, and the point system in this is actually really quite interesting. A really fun game.
Yep, I really love this game, and it's probably a little heavy for the end of the night, but you know what? So what? So what?
So what? You've been drinking heavily and you're ready for it.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're like 4 beers deep at this point. It's time. It's time to play Heaven and Ale.
All right. Well, what games would you recommend for Oktoberfest? Or any of the other themes that we did in this video? And let us know what you think. And for October, let us know what themes you suggest.
Aside from spooky season, which is obviously going to be on the list.
So,
all right, remember,
every day that you game
is a holiday.